You're here for some fantastic, good quality, 100% fresh smelling dad jokes. The guy who invented zero. Thanks for nothing. I asked my wife this morning if she'd seen the dog bowl. And she said, I didn't know he could do that. I was going to try an all-almond diet, but that's just nuts. Why did the fish blush? Because it saw the ocean's bottom. I made a movie once where I made a whole bunch of people sit down and then put clocks on their legs. It was a time-lapse film. What's a sheep's favorite sport? Basketball. Why did the old man fall down the well? Because he couldn't see that well. Which country has the dirtiest knees? Germany. Why did my friend Daniel do a lot of vocalization at the disco? Because dancing. Which is the slipperiest country? Greece. Where do fish go to learn stuff? Schools. Hey, that's handy. Why don't I ever trust stairs? Because they're always up to something. That sprinkler looks a bit tired. Which country is like saying, no, I wouldn't like that specific type of tea? China. How do we know that forest fires don't weigh that much? Because they're a light. It's a new hairstyle, it's fashion. You know how it is. Which Australian insect is the most unwell? The cicadas. What's not quite as good as 11ness? 10ness. So on a cold winter's night, I got covered in bees, which was very useful because swarm. Everyone loves those trees. They're popular. Can you read between the lines? Sometimes it's just hard to tell which is hats and which is knots. Which plant most resembles Roman numerals? Ivy. Why does this sign look so angry? Because it's cross. What does a telephone and a ladder have in common? They've both rung. Both rung out of ideas. What goes on the back of a boat and looks disinterested? An outboard motor. What bird most sounds like you're counting male chickens? Cockatoo. You can't say that, that's rude. Which one of these is more brave? This one. Ouch. Because it's bolder. Oh, I got a dirty finger. What kind of bee produces milk? Boobies. Sorry. Which kind of bear is the most condescending? A panda. What did the fish say when he ran into the wall? Damn. Maths is great, but geology rocks. You having a good day? I'm having a good day. You having a good day? I'm having a good day. I had a friend who was a snail, and he had an internet radio show that was audio only, and all he talked about was tossing petrol. It was his gas throw podcast. Manifold is the Japanese art of folding men. Origami? What do you call it when you're really excited when your supervisor swears? Proboscis. Proboscis? What do you call it when you feed a sheep a lot of caffeine? Buzzing. Bah. How could I tell that the fly was sad? Insect, he sighed. What do you call the power that you use when you're doing something wrong in the eyes of God? Synergy! What do you call a story about a male cow with wings and pointy ears? Fable. When you have a dog and the dog doesn't have any owner, it's just an own itself. It's a dog by itself. What do you say that's like a country? Australia? Yeah. Australia? Yeah. Australia? Which country is most like the appendages on a fish? Finland. Saw me lying on the floor because that joke was so bad. The color purple is just sad red. Don't you think? Which country is most like a sea-based mammal? Wales. The land of neck-based business attire? Thailand. What do you call a paddle that is so shiny you can see your face in it? A mirror. Which country is most like a ringing, ding-donging, sneaky trick? Belarus. Belarus. Which one of my friends is most likely to be like a giant round fruit? Melanie. Which country is most like this thing? Qatar. Qatar. Which country is most like when you're just having a really good look? Uganda? What do you call it when you change something about your pet male bovine? A variable. Embrace your baldness. What do you call it when you get along really well with your significant other? Coefficient. What's this? What is it? It's an ankle. Pretty sure we had a fair go of that one. What do you call a gloomy percussive instrument? Doldrums. What's bigger than a Christmas tree? Christmas for. Why couldn't Simon, Norman, or Susan get any presents at Christmas? Because they were on the naughty list. What do you call really pale wine bottle stoppers from China? Caucasian. I'm pretty sure that's not racist. Naughty. There's none of them. There's no E's. There is no E's to these jokes. They're all hard. What is Good King Wenceslaus's favorite pizza? Deep pan, crisp, and even. What do you call Santa when he stops moving? Santa. Pause. What do you get if you cross an iPad with a Christmas tree? A pineapple. Who's the best at singing Christmas songs? Carol. This one is bad. You better hang around for this one, because I bet you can't even guess how bad this one is. What kind of bell do you use to call alcoholic seabirds? The jingle bell. The jingle bell. Because they're gulls. Why did the snowman start making brewed beverages from his hair? Because he was froze tea, the snowman. What's this? It's Christmas. What's this? It's Father Christmas. I went to the shops and I bought 2 kayaks for the price of 1 kayak. Can you believe it? What can you use to fix a pumpkin that's got a hole in it? A pumpkin patch. God, that was a good one. It's a gourd. I bought 2 long sandwiches for lunch. One with ham and one with cheese. But I wanted a ham and cheese sandwich. So I kind of mixed them together. I layered them over on top of each other. Ham, cheese, bread, ham, cheese, bread. But then I couldn't eat it because it was all soggy. Because one submerged into the other. What do you call it when you tease small black insects for making bad music? Dissonance. Dissonance? Did you know you can wear a canoe upside down on your head as a hat? Because it's capsized. Which one is the most impolite reindeer? Rudolph. Where do Christmas trees go to study chemistry? Elementary school. Because it's element and then tree school. I said to my wife, darling, how do I know that I should have put my shirt on a little bit later today? And she said, shut up, Simon, go and do some work. I said, because it's a little oily. I get it's oily in the morning. Oily in the morning. What do you call a ceiling made out of bark? A roof. I used to keep all my horses out in the middle of the paddock, but they just kept falling over. They were unstable. Roadworks ahead. I sure hope it does. The world record for lounge chairs eaten in an hour is 3. I only managed 2. So close, yet so far. Which cheese should you take to church? Swiss cheese, because it's so holy. What is ever so slightly more British than a coffee intersection? A tea intersection. Why can't you see the top of Tasmanian tigers' legs very often? Because they're thylacine. 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 Which rock is the most tardy? Flat rock. Because it's slate for everything. Who is most likely to win a running race against lower leg amputees? Defeated. Not the people without feet. What kind of seed-based snack does Elmo eat? A Sesame Street. Why did people keep trying to run over the delivery person? Because he turned into a driveway. This is the most important part of the video. You gotta pay attention. Are you ready? We've rubbed the lamp and the genie has appeared. Excuse me. I apologize. It's just the demons trying to get out. Don't worry. It may hurt now, but it'll heal. What stops you from emptying your bladder on the highway? It's speed limit. I had a friend who was driving down the road and he came across this circular piece of road. But then when he tried to drive on it, a giant mouth came out from the middle and just consumed him. How terrifying do you think I think that is out of 10? Round about 8, my friend. Why are hovercrafts better than cars? Because they're not as tired. I have a friend from another country. He loves to fly his plane.
But the first thing that he does before he flies his plane is he gets a hose and he hoses down both of the big things that stick out of the side of his plane. And I asked him, why do you do this? And he said, well, it's not driving.
And now it's time for the traditional popcorn hat. Ouch.
Harvest and pick. Pick means to choose or take from a certain array of things. And harvest is only 50% of a waistcoat.
Don't forget, 3 p.m. Tuesday. Pursuit is a cat with a lot of body hair. Meow. Guess the Egyptian pharaoh, Ramesses. Which ones? These ones. It was a bit unfair, because I knew the answer all along. We interrupt this video to bring you disco time. Why was little Nomi really embarrassed about going up to the first floor? Because of all the stairs he would get. What is the opposite of deja vu? Night vu. Define rocket. A tiny little petite rock. A rocket. Anyway, here's Wonderwall. You need to know the song, the theme song from MASH. This is called Mashup. Why was the landlocked country of Belgium so uncertain? Because it was unsure. It didn't have sureness. Yesterday I found a knight in a fridge, so I called him So Cool. Why are most sports uniforms quite white? Because of the bleachers. How much money do road workers earn? A high wage. Or maybe a low wage. Which room do you keep all of your extra coins in? The change rooms. I have a Mexican friend who is named after the watery leftovers of when you make curds. His name is Juan Pai. Way to go. Do you know the meaning of the word tangent? A tangent is just a man who spends a little bit too much time in the sun. What do you call a disease that only affects quite rotund people? A playground.
What do you call a person who just yells obscenities and mean things at vehicles? A carburetor.
If you put your ear on train tracks, you can hear snoring because of all the sleepers. Yeah, sleepers? Because they're large pieces of wood. They're called sleepers and they snore because they're sleeping. What has a low temperature in a confined space? The school zone.
And now it's time for a short break.
My grandfather was really sad. So he planted lots and lots of non-deciduous evergreen trees. It's because he was pining for the forest. Why is the pine tree the sharpest tree in the forest? Because of the needles. What does snail slime and swearing cats have in common? Mucus! Why is going for a walk in the park a little bit like traveling in space and time? Because you can travel on the path and then you can go to the future. The few chairs that they put along the side of the path. When I go for walks, people ask me what I see and I say, mostly rocks, but also some trees. Transformers, big box on a pole. What's the opposite of a propeller? An amateur propeller. What's the opposite of paving? Freeving. You know, because you don't have to pay for it. Which part of a church sounds most like what you would do if you wanted to make a hot beverage from dried out, desiccated people? The steeple. Oh, I hit my disco ball. Oh, that means it's disco time. Wait, it's disco time. What is the opposite of hide and seek? Load and blind. Define thinking. A skinny royalty. Orange, do you want some? It's really good. Mwah! But the opposite of thinking would be fat peasant, which incidentally was my nickname in high school. This change of camera angle and also this video is brought to you today by Envelope of Awesome. Go to www.envelopeofawesome.com and get a subscription now for your creative kit. Why were all of the cowboy bunnies so nervous? Because they had a hair trigger. What's this got to do with my silly, videos? Rock on! My head. I'm not stoned. Which roads do turkeys like to walk on? Gobblestone roads. What do you call it when Taylor Swift gets you in trouble for eating vegetables? Vegetation. What did the hunter say when he lost his gun in the bush? I'll rifle through this bush until I find it. What kind of sound does a witch's vehicle make? Broom, broom. Why are elevator jokes so good? Because they work on so many levels. Which of the oceans is the most detail-orientated? The Pacific Ocean. Requires you to say that one in a funny way. In fact, all jokes require you to say it in a funny way. Maybe that's my problem. What do you call a dog who meditates? A werewolf. Which type of dog, backwards, is most like water? A wolf, because wolf backwards is flow. Wait, this is a bad one. Which animal backwards is most like a deity? A dog. Which type of housing isn't the most profitable? Rentals, because they're the least profitable. Least. You know, like when you lease something out, it's like renting. It's very funny. Wait! I think it might be time for the traditional popcorn hat. What did the baby say incorrectly twice when going to a zoo in Sydney? Taronga. Gaga? There's a zoo in Sydney called Taronga Zoo. I'm not lying.
Taronga's Zoo.
Hi and welcome back to the non sequitur news segment. This is a tiny fan. Whee! G'day and welcome to Dad Jokes Fish Edition, where we don't give a carp if the jokes are good or not. How can fish know what they weigh all the time? Because they have their own scales. What do you call a fish that can play the guitar? A guitar tuner. Maybe this next one's a little bit confusing, but why does a French fish like the end of films so much? Because of the fin. Why did the ceiling get sick of the disco ball? Because he just kept hanging around. Why was the bouncer at the disco so scary? Because he was good at working the club. Time flies like an arrow. Fruit flies like a banana. What's it called when there's a whole bunch of little tiny bells on your lip and then you smack them, but then you do it again. You smack them again. That's a bad lip reading. Lip reading, because you've done it once. Donged it? Dinged it? Dinged it. If you like what you see here, then there's something wrong with both of us. I had a snail follow me around. He just kept looking at me. He kept staring at me. His eyes were stalking me. What do you call a homeless snail? A slug. Why did the builder carry around a pocket full of snails? Because they're what he used to hit with his hammer. He hits his snails with the snammer. Why did the racing driver snail paint an S on the side of his car? So when people saw him drive by, they can be like, look at that escargot. What did that snail after he won the driving race? What did he say? He said, it's time to celebrate. What do you call it when you feed a sheep a lot of caffeine? What do baby flies and stinky cash have in common? Pupae. You know, in those Marvel movies when Thor got rid of his hammer and he replaced it with the other thing with the blade on the handle? What's that got to do with flies? Thorax. How do I tell my sister that the tiny little black insect on her desk, what it is? Antenna. Her name's Anna, and it says Aunt Anna. What do Australian mythical animals and bread and tiny dogs have in common? Bunyip. What do you say to a taxi driver when you want to know how long he's had that particular taxi? Cabbage? Cabbage. What do you call it when there are two places to park your boat, but you don't have a boat? A paradox. What do you call it when there's just a lot of saws to look at in the playground? Seesaws. What am I doing? This is the Earth, not to scale. That's what I said to my doctor when he said, what do you weigh? Which country is like the phrase that you say when you're telling someone the nickname for your friend Alison? Italy. Italy. Keep ruining the coast of North America or Japan or wherever that is. Geology wasn't my strong suit. It would be a strong suit. Be made out of rocks. Which country is most like when you musically vocalize to a bunch of people who don't have enough money? Singapore! Wait, I spelled that wrong. Singapore! Which country is most like what you say to the famous singer with that hairdo? how many leg joints you have. Tunisia. Which country most sounds like some sort of, throat medicine? Algeria. What do you have to do when you get really sweaty from eating 2 pies? In maths. You have to towel. Imagine you had a friend named Richard. You're trying to explain to Richard how the structure of buying writing implements works. Then you have to also sing your friend Richard. Per pen, Dick. Eula! Because Dick is short for Richard. It's totally acceptable. Keep it clean, family friendly. What do you call it when you have green slime growing all over your, over the shoulder boulder holder? Algebra. Get it? Because it's algae? It's algebra. It's an algebra. That's why it's green and slimy. In Germany, why is it that 11 is not afraid of 10? Because 10, 9, 8, 7. 9, 8, 7. Did not eat 7. I don't know how to speak German. Stehen Sie auf. Stellen Sie sit. What is an ancient Egyptian's favorite type of barbecue food? Sausages. Because there's an Egyptian god named Thoth.
Superman was flying over the countryside and he saw a road. So he flew down onto the road and he noticed that there were 2 Loises. And then he realized it was a dual-lane highway. What's it called when you have a car crash, but the only thing that is damaged is a thing you use to chop down trees? A traffic accident. Which actor is most like charging a river? Bill Murray, announcing the arrival of Miss Elaine to the highway party. She's not married and she's very musical. That's Sing Elaine. What kind of jam is really bad on toast? Raspberry jam. You get it. Which country are you most likely to find a car going backwards? Iraq. Because it's Iraq. Car backwards is Iraq. That kind of sounds like Iraq, the country. Depending on your accent.
What do you call the facial hair on the top lip of a person who is the cook at a small cafe that serves food? Who has an electric personality? A dynamo. A dynamo is a machine used to convert mechanical energy into an electrical energy. Just like his moustache, full of electricity. That was directed at the haters, not you. It's okay. What do you call it when you're brave enough to call someone on the phone? Daring! Because you're daring. It's really raining a lot. I knew a man who was feeling a little angry and a little frustrated. So he created a clone for himself to make himself feel better, so that his clone could appease him. He was duplication. He was duplication. Placation. Because he was being placated by his twin. He was duplication. G'day, you're you, I'm me, I'm your dad. And this, I'm not your dad. Unless I am. That's concerning. What is a pumpkin's most favorite, unfortunately not existing anymore, social media video platform? Vine. What do you call it when you're telling your friend Jack that, you really should use the local area network right now? Jack, LAN, turn it on, please. G'day and welcome to Christmas edition Dad Jokes. There's snowman around here that makes better jokes than me. Why did the snowman go to the carrot aisle in the supermarket? To pick his nose. Ew, that's so gross. What kind of garden implement does Santa Claus like the most? What do Christmas trees and the auctioning of common metals have in common? Tinsel. What do you call a hairy Christmas tree? A fur. Who are you? Yeah, I'm the other Simon. So I think you should remind these amazing people to go and support you on Patreon so that we can afford to feed your kids. That's true. You mean our kids? Oh yeah, sorry. Our kids. Just don't tell Cass about me, okay? Good idea. She might freak out. You know what they say, 2 heads are better than 1, 2 Simons, chaos. Thanks, Simon. My pleasure, Simon. Please continue. Okay, what are Pantyhose' favorite royalty? Stocking. So what do you call it when you sell insults from a donkey at Christmas time? Celebration. You know the 9th reindeer, Frank? What do you call it when he gets angry? frankincense. Why are cows so sick of Christmas? Because they have tidings all the time. That's all they hear. They hear tiding because they wear it around their neck. It's like a necktie, and then it goes ding, and then they hear the tidings. Oh, tidings of seasonings, greetings to you. It's a short one. Knock, knock. Who's there? Canoe. Canoe? Canoe who? Canoe hang around and listen to my horrendous dad jokes? Where does the platypus keep its money? In the riverbank. There's a lot of great books in the river. Some great reads.
Sometimes you go down the path and the empty paddock is full of bees. I'm gonna build my beach house for sure. Define scarcity. A very frightening place to live. How does a penguin fix his house? He glues it together. That's a nice joke. I think it's pretty cool. What is the wettest type of sandwich? A submarine. So I have a friend who has a little monster that lives in his house. Then his house burned down. The firefighters tried to put it out, but they couldn't quite put it out. It just kept burning and reigniting. It was because of the petrol. The petrol. One of my mates, Matt, his pants kept falling down, so he thought he would make himself a belt, but the only thing he had was 17 watches. And so what he did is he gaffer taped really carefully all of these watches together. It took him forever. It was a real waste of time. What do you call a building that makes chairs that you're really happy with? Settee's factory. Why can't you hear it when a pterodactyl goes to the bathroom? Because they're extinct. Define particles. Little teeny tiny bits of ice. What's the opposite of watermelons? What aren't melons? What is so good about a frozen first letter of the alphabet? I don't know, but it's such a nice A. Define climate. Something a monkey does to get up a tree. Why don't eggs tell jokes? Because they haven't crossed the road yet. What do you call cheese that you sit on? Cheddar. Why can't fairies look at you when they make their music? Because facing other way.
Wait, it's disco time.
What do you call it when you can hear but you can't see somebody making a hole in a pyramid-shaped block in the back of a vehicle? Ventriloquism. What is the name for the cacophony of sound that a bear makes when you use it to plug up a hole on the side of your ship? Hullabaloo! What do you call a duck that talks too much? Loquacious. Why does Gimli and his gang in The Lord of the Rings act a little bit strange when they're on land? Because they're out of their minds. Define cacophony. The sound your automobile makes when it gets the flu. What do you call it when you don't recognize a pedantic watchmaker? Incognito. Define iridescent. The smell of the reflection of the sunshine on the water coming out of a sprinkler system. Define ephemeral. When you act like a woman, but only for a very short time. What do you call the suburb where all of the giant guinea pigs that wear hats live? The capybara. Define eccentric. No longer the middle. Define gossamer. Somebody who talks about your mother's needlework behind their back. Why are all the politicians in Australia in the capital city? Because they're the only ones who can bear it. What do you call it when you're really certain where the sand is? Sure. Why couldn't the seaside students get top marks? Because they got a B each.
What is the hottest type of canoe? Volcanoes. Volcanoes. Volcanoes? Volcanoes. What do you call a transformer that turns into a canoe? A robot. Did you know that they sell paddles in the rapids? Whilst you're going down the rapids, they sell them to you. I tried to do it. It was so hard, though. The rapids. So difficult. It was such an ordeal. Why was Rudolph's report card worse than it was last year? because he went down in history. Which three of the biblical characters asked the most questions? The wise men. Which night around Christmas time is the most like renting out a long, slow, deep breath out? Silent night. Define logarithmic. When you play beats on a fallen tree. What's the opposite of hiking? Low queen. Which mineral is most likely to have an eye patch? Pyrite. It's also most likely to know what 3.14159 is. While we were on our hike, we went into a tiny ravine. It was just like a little tiny valley. There were seabirds everywhere. It was gully. How does a dog talk? Roughly. So this is the most controversial joke that I wrote while we were hiking. What's the opposite of adventure? Subtract closed room stand. Because the opposite of add is subtract, the opposite of vent is a closed room, and the opposite of chur is standing. What is the meaning of the word palindrome? A friend in the capital city of Italy.
Why did the bicycle fall over? Because it couldn't stand these jokes anymore.
Thanks for watching. That's enough dad jokes for today. No more further puns from me. Thank you so much for breathing. If you enjoy dad jokes and silliness, and you've had your day ruined, consider supporting us on Patreon. It seems a little bit used. Why was the Michelin Man so attractive? Because he was attired so well. I'm tired of these jokes now. Are you? Wheelie.